Okay, so we have our next speakers, Mr. Vikram Gupta and Mr. Vishal Jindal. But 2-3 things I want to tell you. पीछे की जो जनता है, I know last night has been heavy for you. There's a very famous शेर, and you will remember. ये उड़ी उड़ी सी रंगत, ये खुले खुले से गेसू. ये उड़ी उड़ी सी रंगत, ये खुले खुले से गेसू, तेरी सुबह बता रही है तेरी रात का फसाना. एक रूल है. सो जो भी यहाँ पे आएगा, आई नीड टू इंट्रोड्यूस देम बिकॉज इंट्रोडक्शन चाहिए होता है. तो लेट मी इंट्रोड्यूस माई सेल्फ एज वेल. जिनको नहीं पता और जो हमारे स्पीकर्स आए हैं उनके लिए मैं आपको बता दूँ दैट माई नेम इज़ प्रखर. आई एम योर MC फॉर टुडे. आई एम अ लॉयर, अ पोएट एंड अ विजिबल लीडर. Not just a leader, a visible leader. Sorry? I am on stage, that's right. ये भी बताना चाहूँगा मैं कहाँ से हूँ. एक शेर याद आ रहा है. देखिए रूल ये है क्योंकि जागना ज़रूरी है. Yesterday Mr. Shekhar Kapoor spoke about right side of the brain and left side of the brain. दोनों का एक्टिवेशन ज़रूरी है, वरना पीछे की जनता में देख रहा था वहाँ से मामला थोड़ा ढीला है. सो मैं कहाँ से हूँ उसके लिए मैं आपको बताऊँ. एक शेर मुझे याद आता है, तवज्जो दें. वो शेर ऐसा है कि उलझ कर तेरे जुल्फों में आबाद हो जाऊं. विक्रम सुने आप. उलझ कर
भी विक्रम है बाद में. दोनों सरी के
बोथ द विक्रम, प्लीज पे अटेंशन. उलझ कर तेरी जुल्फों में आबाद हो जाऊं. और सुनिल, ये जो उलझ कर तेरी जुल्फों में ये जो तेरी है, ये बिटकॉइन भी हो सकता है. उलझ कर तेरी जुल्फों में आबाद हो जाऊं, जैसे लखनऊ का मैं अमीनाबाद हो जाऊं. तालियां राहुल साहब. उलझ कर तेरी जुल्फों में आबाद हो जाऊं, जैसे लखनऊ का मैं अमीनाबाद हो जाऊं, और जमुना की तरह निहारूं ताज को मैं कब तक. जमुना की तरह निहारूं ताज को मैं कब तक, कोई गंगा मिले तो मैं इलाहाबाद हो जाऊं. तो मैं आई एम फ्रॉम इलाहाबाद. बिफोर वी गो टू आवर नेक्स्ट सेशन, तालियां कम बजा रहे हैं आप. बिफोर वी गो टू आवर नेक्स्ट सेशन, हाँ जागते रहिए. बिफोर वी गो टू आवर दैट वाज डेडिकेटेड टू वैभव ऑल्सो, बट आई नहीं. So before we go to our next session, there are 4-5 ground rules. मैं आपको बता दूं, मुझे भी याद नहीं है तो देखना पड़ेगा. देखिए, पहला ग्राउंड रूल ये है कि मोबाइल फ़ोन्स यूज़ ना करें जब सेशंस चल रहे हैं. मोबाइल फ़ोन में कुछ रखा है नहीं. उदय प्रताप सिंह साहब का एक शेर है. अब लोग कहेंगे मैं प्रिपेयर करके आया. मैं प्रिपेयर देखिए कुछ नहीं करके आया, स्क्रिप्ट नहीं है, लेकिन शेर याद आ रहे हैं. शेर ऐसा है कि होता नहीं हर फैसला सिक्का उछाल के. होता नहीं हर फैसला सिक्का उछाल के, ये दिल का मामला है ज़रा देखभाल के. होता नहीं हर फैसला सिक्का उछाल के, ये दिल का मामला है ज़रा देखभाल के. और मोबाइल के दौर के आशिकों को क्या पता. डॉक रिलेट करेंगे आप. मोबाइल के दौर के आशिकों को क्या पता, रखते थे कैसे ख़त में कलेजा निकाल के. इसलिए मोबाइल यूज़ ना करें. दूसरा रूल ये है कि whenever any guest is there and he is speaking, please don't leave the auditorium. क्योंकि उससे क्या होता है कि कम्युनिकेशन विथ इम्पैक्ट नहीं हो पाएगा. कम्युनिकेशन हो सकता है, इम्पैक्ट नहीं हो पाएगा. इस पे भी मुझे कुछ लाइन याद आ रही हैं, कहिए तो सुना दूं. पब्लिक डिमांड है. कुमार विश्वास साहब की कुछ पंक्तियां हैं कि बहुत टूटा बहुत बिखरा, थपेड़े सह नहीं पाया. विशाल साहब, बहुत टूटा बहुत बिखरा, थपेड़े सह नहीं पाया, हवाओं के इशारों पर मगर मैं बह नहीं पाया. बहुत टूटा बहुत बिखरा, थपेड़े सह नहीं पाया, हवाओं के इशारों पर मगर मैं बह नहीं पाया. अधूरा अनसुना ही रह गया वो प्यार का किस्सा. अर्जुन, अधूरा अनसुना ही रह गया वो प्यार का किस्सा, कभी वो सुन नहीं पाए कभी मैं कह नहीं पाया. अगर आप बाहर जाएंगे तो ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है आपके साथ. तीसरा रूल ये है, इन केस ऑफ फायर, Please assemble in the reception area. There will be somebody to accompany you. देखिए, there's a difference in case of fire. और अगर कोई आग लगा दे तो मत जाइए. आग लगी है तो जाइए. और चौथा और आखिरी रूल ये है, दो कैफीन इज नेसेसरी फॉर आपके लिए तो बहुत ज़्यादा है अभी, लेकिन डोंट ब्रिंग एनी मग्स, कप्स, ग्लासेस ऑफ कॉफी इनसाइड द ऑडिटोरियम बिकॉज देयर आर टू रीजंस जो मुझे समझ में आती हैं, बताया नहीं गया है. पहली रीज़न ये है कि जिन कुर्सियों पे आपने तशरीफ़ रखी है वो बहुत महंगी हैं. और दूसरा रीज़न ये है कि इफ़ यू स्पिल ओवर द कॉफ़ी टू एनी पर्सन हु सिटिंग बिसाइड यू और आगे, तो मामला ख़राब हो. देयर इज़ नो पॉइंट. वी आर पीसफुल पीपल. सो ये 3-4 रूल्स हैं, उसको ध्यान में रखें. नाउ विदाउट मच अडू, अभी आप जागे हैं? हाँ, एक बार ज़ोरदार तालियां बजा दें. वेरी नाइस. सो नाउ आई विल इनवाइट आवर नेक्स्ट स्पीकर्स. आई विल इंट्रोड्यूस देम. पहले हैं मिस्टर विशाल जिंदल. Mr. Vishal Jindal is the founder and co-CEO of Skygate Hospitality Private Limited, popularly known as Biryani by Kilo. सबने खाया होगा. He, as the startup suggests, he has passion for food, and he has vast experience in growing multiple businesses across geographies. He previously founded an India-focused private equity fund, Carpedium Capital Partners. He's a frequent speaker on startups, entrepreneurship, and a passionate reader and traveler. Mr. Jindal has a postgraduate management degree from Syracuse University, New York, and a bachelor's in engineering from IIT BHU. Please join your hands to welcome Mr. Vishal Jindal. And along with him, we also have Mr. Vikram Gupta. Mr. Vikram Gupta is the founder and managing partner of IVCap Ventures Advisors Private Limited. Started in 2011, IVCap has now become the largest homegrown venture capital fund in India. Mr. Gupta has over 20 years of experience in venture capital, business consulting, M&A, strategy, and technology across multiple sectors. He is also known for setting up India's first healthcare and life sciences venture capital fund. Previously, he also managed the clinical genomics practice for IBM's healthcare and life sciences vertical in the US. Mr. Gupta has a bachelor's degree from IIT Delhi. Please give a big round of applause to both our speakers. I'll also ask Nishith Bhai to welcome both our speakers again. Thank you.
Vikram, wonderful to have you here, and Vishal, to you too as well. All of you have made it to this event just at the spur of moment. Just call in your friends. So that's a real friendship, and I welcome you to this, all our young audience, including myself. And thanks a lot. So I think we also talk about IVCap. I think IVCap is also empathy fund in many ways, and I've seen him growing right from day one, conceptualization. And Vishal, over to you. Yeah. Over to you.
First of all, thank you so much, Nishith Bhai. This is a great honor to be here. I think I still remember the day when I met you and I had still not started IVCap. It was a, you were the first one, in fact, to say that the concept which you're thinking of, with the whole endowment angle. So, in fact, we started, I think many of you might even know, we started actually the concept of giving back to the education ecosystem. In fact, part of our carry goes back as endowment to the IITs. And that concept actually has worked very well for us. In fact, from a Fund 1, now that we have done some good performance, our carry has come and now it's actually going back to the IITs. We set up India's first endowment fund at IIT Delhi in October 2019, which was launched by the Honorable President at Rashtrapati Bhavan. And post that, we've seen many other endowment funds, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Madras, and many others have set up their endowment funds on similar lines. But I think what I feel proud of today is actually, I think the concept that was just an idea at the time when I met Nishith Bhai, I was talking about, this is something we want to set up something unique, and he immediately, said that this is going to change not just the country, but this is the potential to change how venture capital is done globally. And I think, I feel very, I would say, fortunate to have Nishith Bhai and many others who actually supported us right from early days. Of course, Vishal is one of our portfolio companies. Vishal actually, maybe Vishal, you may want to introduce yourself, and we can maybe have more chat after that.
Well, thanks, Vikram, and thanks everyone here. Like, thanks Nishith Bhai to give us this stage, invite us. I think biryani by kilo is a very interesting concept. Even before I start, I just want to know how many of you have ordered or tried BBK, if you can see. So I know who I'm speaking. Yeah. Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. So it's my journey. I'll say very briefly. I am a product of IIT. Then I went to US, did my MBA, and I've been in IT business, wo jo padhe likhe wala business, if I can say, for a long time. Then I moved to hedge funds and private equity. And 2015, if I can say, I was taking a stock of my life. I was 40 then, around 10 years back. So I'm an old man now. It was, so I had done entrepreneurship and I had done finance, investments. And there were a couple of options at that time in my life. But when I look deeply, see, I've been very passionate. I'm a passionate Indian and quite passionate about food. And I've lived in New York, Singapore, traveled. I used to look at companies from the likes of high-end Nobu to McDonald's to Burger King's to Chipotle to Nando's chain. From India, despite having such a rich cultural and food heritage from different states of India, we don't really have a big multinational chain which on the likes of these companies. And I always have been an investor from that side. Public markets I've seen and some. I was very passionate that we should have a chain, but it's easier said than done, if I can really say. It has to be a very good product market fit. Let's say if you really want to create a dosa chain, I'm a big dosa fan, but it might not work worldwide or India-wide. See, Jubilant in India with Domino's master franchisee has been the most successful business in this sector with a 5,000 crore top line and a 1,000 crore EBITDA. And there are few companies in India overall also with a 1,000 crore plus EBITDA and 1,500 outlets. So I've been a student of Jubilant. I've been in touch with their management for last 15, 20 years, most of the time. So the food has to be typically a more delivery-friendly category. Like dosa doesn't cater itself because of, see, high-end restaurants might be good. You can go to Olive, and because AD Singh is going to be here, so I'm taking his example. But you can only make so many, and depending on, so you have to have a category which is deep, which biryani doesn't have an incumbent leader like in burgers or pizzas. And it's a dish, India's cultural heritage dish. And it's a one-pot meal, very versatile. You can make a chicken biryani to we have a kattal biryani to a prawn biryani. You can have a spicy Hyderabadi biryani or a very flavorful, less spicy Lucknowi biryani. So the category is there, very delivery friendly, no incumbent leader. So the ground was quite open, and I thought if this done right can be, give us pride as an Indian, as a businessman, and can be, if scaled right, can be maybe, if done right, can be a legacy. So now from 2015 when I started, and of course, I can give as much gyan as I want. I'm a strategy guy, finance guy, marketing guy, organizational building guy, but I might not even know how to make a very good dish, but I can cook. But definitely, my co-founder is Kaushik Roy. He's a veteran from this industry, F&B. He's a very strong ops person, and it has been a good team. So today we have 100 plus outlets in 45 cities in India, and 250 to 300 crore kind of revenue today. And but the challenge in this business is it's not difficult to make one biryani or one outlet or one city. The challenge comes if you want to do like 20 cities or 30 cities or 20 countries. See, the systems and process take center stage, where so we don't really have cooks in our kitchen. Although we are very proud of the product, it's a fresh product. We make biryani on order. It's a bespoke biryani, if I can use the word khansama biryani, in terms of when the order comes, we put like a pizza, every ingredient is put in the handi, and it's dum cooked the way the biryani is traditionally cooked in a closed vessels to capture the aromas and flavors. And we use very high-end ingredients like 2 years naturally aged premium basmati, meats, vegetables, but everything is very standardized. If you put the same input material every time, which is difficult in this industry, and you use the same process, the output will be same. See, our handi is not opened by us, by the customer. So we have no way to know whether biryani is overcooked or undercooked, or the meat or the vegetable or paneer. So the whole process has to be very standardized, the way a McDonald's or a Burger King will do, but with authenticity, because biryani has a heritage. So we have to be true to the authentic flavors and how it is done. So there's a lot of work spent or time spent, resources for the first 1 year to just standardize these processes. Because a lot of times companies go in the front end in marketing, but I think the back end part here is very important. And the second more difficult part while creating a big brand is the brand has to travel. See, in Bangalore, people have their own favorites in biryani, or in Hyderabad, so you have to make the brand travel. So like recently, we just released a web series on Disney called Dum Laga Ke India. So we are corroborating the dum in biryani, to the dum of India. So it's a chef Ranbir Barar who's the host, and we have PV Sindhu in Hyderabad, Bani Kapoor, and I'll encourage people. But I think it was a long introduction, but I just wanted to sort of say everything, so I think people have a context here. Yeah.
No, it's in fact, I still remember when we first met regarding the business. And I think one of the things, because Ivy Cap's model actually is anchored by the IIT Alumni Trust. We have a large number of IIT alumni who actually invested through this trust into the fund, and we have a large number of institutional investors. One of the things that, we've realized, and we have examples like Purple, where, Manish and Rahul had no clue about the beauty business, but they knew about technology and how technology can be used to understand the customer. I think similarly, you don't come from food background otherwise, so it was about understanding the customer and what technology can do. So I think it'll be interesting to understand from your perspective, not coming from the background and still actually, finding that value, or changing or finding disruptive models to really address and then scale. People would otherwise always have this perception about, can you really create $1 billion business in biryani, right? So how do you do that?
So it's very, if Jubilant can do 5,000 crores on pizza, biryani can do much more. So $1 billion is, quite achievable. And also because this is a worldwide dish, and there is no leader worldwide also in any country who can do biryani with the kind of processes and standardization we can do. So hopefully, and most than likely, we would be that leader even for the world. So coming to the technology part and finding the business model, so we always knew there is a market for biryani. See, everyone eats rice, it's aromatic, flavorsome, it's healthier than a burger or a pizza. Everyone knows the category. But it has to be, like when we were launching in Punjab, everyone told us it's a butter chicken or a tangri kebab place. How will you sell biryani? But we have like 6-7 outlets from Mohali to Chandigarh, Ludhiana is doing quite well. So, so the standardization and the technology here is very important. So it might not look like that, but let's say even the handi, the thickness of the handi or the mud which goes into it or the opening, how much it is, because everything will change how the biryani will be cooked in the oven, what temperature, what moisture, and in terms of ingredients, if you use a different rice or a different water or a different meat cut. So although it'll be crude, but see, let's say when we source our mutton, it's a 7.5 kg carcass, and so the variation can be few hundred grams, but it cannot be a 12 kg carcass, or so same for the chicken, same for, like we use the rice from Dawat only, which is a 2 years naturally aged rice. So every ingredient down to the last detail has to be standardized, the masalas, everything. So you have to make the processes so dumb that the chances of going wrong are very little, generally. Although it's a journey, and I'm not saying, but if we are 98% right, 99%, we will go to 99.9. So I think it is first a mindset that it has to be standardized. So sometimes, if I can say, businesses are simple to that. DMart is a big example, the retail chain. But see, their DNA or the foundation and what they want to do, or Indigo as an airline. But the next, Indigo might have a market cap of 60,000 crores, but SpiceJet would have 3. It's a similar, but the mindset, how to standardize that you will take only Airbus 320 or 330 and no else, or you will only focus on time. So we were very clear in terms of business model and technology that, we will focus on biryani, which is a very deep category without a leader and very delivery friendly, and standardize everything and focus on, trainings, hiring, processes. And I think that has worked. And of course, I'll have to go more into detail in terms of how we standardize, but we can get into it. Also on the tech side, let's say today, in terms of process, everyone in the kitchen might be doing 2-3 steps. If tomorrow in a country where robotic arms are cheaper than people, a robotic arm can do the same process. So, you have to take the judgment away in the processes, in these kind of things. You have to take the judgment away, and we have even cameras, AI cameras. So if that step is, so someone can use cameras to monitor them if the process, but these AI-enabled cameras can keep watching those steps, and if there is something wrong someone is doing in those steps, they can alert the people who are monitoring it. So going forward, I think it might not look that sound romantic, but this very great food can be produced by, with very little or no people in the kitchen.
So interestingly, while we were coming here, Vishal gave me some very interesting insights into, what kind of people are vegetarian and what kind of people are non-vegetarian. And it was very interesting insight for me. He said, CAs are generally vegetarian people. I was like, I started thinking of, all the CAs I know in my life, and I realized that he's right. In fact, majority of the CAs are vegetarians.
In this field, it's my job to predict who's vegetarian.
What about lawyers?
No, I think I'm not so sure. I think we can take, how many people are vegetarian here?
Lawyers are sharks, no?
Wow, that's about 30% here, I guess.
40%, but still, I think.
But I think the point I'm trying to understand here, I think there is a lot of data that you're getting on the customers, and therefore the segmentation. I think each state in India has different tastes, different cultures, different way they want to eat biryani. So how do you really segment the market? Now you're all over India, right? So how many stores you have now? More than 100 stores already, right? So
around, yeah.
So how do you really, cater to the local customized needs of consumers, whether it Calcutta versus Gujarat versus North versus South, and this whole segment of vegetarian, which is actually has this perception of biryani means, non-vegetarian. Now, we heard a comment, if you called it pulao by kilo, then I would have probably gone, to buy it. So what's your view on that?
No, it's a difficult challenge, I would say, but it's a challenge I'll accept because the market is very deep and the victory is very big. You can create $1 billion plus business, or McDonald's is a $25 billion business, or a Chipotle is a $4 billion business, and a market cap of 40, 50 or 100. So, but the challenge is, of course, there. Food is a live product, and no matter what I say about, it's a difficult business to be in. So, we went to South last, and we knew why. Because it's a very staple food there. People eat biryani for breakfast there. There are people who eat biryani 7 times a week there. So they know their biryani. Who are we to go and tell them this is how biryani is made, or this is the authentic biryani? So it's not easy to, and also the rice to meat ratio changes there. People in South eat much more rice in their biryani. And in our half kg biryani, which is 550 grams handi, or if you take away the handi, only weigh the biryani, it's closer to 550 gram. I can have my lunch and dinner in that. But when you do consumer surveys, it is hardly enough for, let's say, someone, and I don't want to, it's just a factual statement. Someone in Hyderabad, that's not enough for one meal. So it's very subjective. So in Hyderabad, we had to change our portion size to 750 grams for instead of half kg. And the rice to meat ratio, the rice quantity has to be very. So you have to have a very close your ear to the ground. And see, McDonald's, when they came to India, there apparently butter chicken burger. There's a masala dosa flavored burger. So you have to see, the ethos of the brand has to. We cannot compromise that. We make fresh biryani on order in handi, and we deliver it in the same handi or serve it in the same handi in our dine-in outlets in which it is dum cooked. So, and we will use a very high quality rice and ingredients and rice. See, that cannot be compromised. But having said that, if a person in Hyderabad needs 750 grams in his one meal instead of 500 grams, so be it. If they need more rice to meat ratio, so be it. If they need double masala option where they will, so some, it's a very interesting take. Some people will, our Hyderabadi biryani, I think we put quite less oil, ghee, but it's accepted by most people. But people will come back and tell me your Hyderabadi is very less spicy. And our Lucknowi is very flavorsome, and to the extent some people will call it bland. And some people will come and tell me your Lucknowi is very spicy, and your Hyderabadi is less spicy. So it is so subjective for that matter. Well, we'll have to go by what 80% plus people will accept. But having said that, when you go to a Hyderabad, Bangalore, see in Bangalore, there are more singles people there. So instead of a 400 rupees biryani, they might need a single portion biryani, which is 350 grams, but 299 rupees and done. And also, see, one challenge with us is if you want to make biryani fresh, it takes us around 30 minutes to dum cook it in the handi. So this means it will be delivered, depending on the distance to your house or office, maybe in 50 minutes or 60 or 80 minutes, depending on the distance. So some people cannot wait that long, right? So we have a single portion handi, which can be 350 grams, which can be made in 15-20 minutes. And delivered in 30-40. So you'll have to keep tweaking. We already have one model for food court, which we did last month. We'll be going to airports, but people will not wait for 60 minutes on an airport, right? Otherwise, I think it'll be. So you have to do all those tweaking and still make fresh. So you have to go into AI and predictive models. So in this 30 minutes, how many of my biryani at airport or food court will be consumed. So you have to already put them in the oven. Right, so all that requires a lot of data analysis. So at the heart, we are also a big, if I can say, so there are tech models, CRM models, very sophisticated softwares, which AI, which keeps on tweaking these predictive models, and of course looking as hearing from the customers what they need and learning. But I think the mindset of adaptability and openness and listening to the customer is the key here.
Yeah, so another thing which, Vishal, I think one thing which I really appreciate from Nishith Bhai is, is always thinking of the future. Is always thinking about how future technologies can change our way of doing things. And I think if we were to look at the future of this industry and the way, especially biryani, is consumed and served and delivered, what kind of challenges do you see? And what kind of, even from a, since we have a room full of lawyers, how do you see maybe from a regulatory perspective, maybe any other challenges that you see going forward, or even in the current context, which could actually become a hindrance from a growth perspective?
Yeah, see, in this business, of course, the consumer and the product market fit in every state is a challenge, but we generally solve it once we enter in 3 to 6 months, listening to the customer. But see, delivery, it sounds easy, but when there are rains going on, or Ganesh festival in Bombay going on, the roads are choco-blocks. So of course, someone was talking about drone. So we have experimented with, sort of the regulatory. So I think all those technologies like drone delivery today, Amazon is now doing in terms of no people take away retail stores. So drone, of course, I think will become big in terms of delivery. Then it changes the whole game. So the regulatory environment in terms of drone delivery, etc. So we even have put a video on net if someone goes and see, where we did an experiment of delivering through drone to. So we have done it in reality, but on a commercial scale and using all the regulatory environment, I think it will be. And in terms of, I think there are other teeny-weeny bureaucratic things, but I think might not be so interesting, but maybe we'll take it some other one. Yeah.
So, if anybody has any questions at this stage, okay, please.
Hi, Vishal.
Hi.
First of all, I think my son is your great fan, not
Thank
not by the taste of biryani, but how BBK has done business. He has his own startup. But I have one question. I was a surgeon for 14 years before I became lawyer. And the parameter...
You were a surgeon?
I was an ENT surgeon before Nishith called me to become a lawyer.
We also cook biryani.
It happened over pizza, not biryani. But
Yeah, I know.
so, one parameter or one gold standard we had, at least I had, that if I operate a sister, if I remove tonsil of a sister, her brother's tonsil must be removed by me. That's the repeat value. And that's how even movies become successful. So when you talk of biryani, and you just talked about Punjab, how to sell biryani. So one is any success of any food is consistency and quality and repeat orders. So if Milinantani orders biryani today from BBK, next time family thinks of eating biryani, they must order from you. So was this a challenge? Because biryani without kitchen, that's what you just mentioned, and especially when it is dum-cooked biryani, where it is a standardized thing. So how you manage this, having more than 100 outlets with this type of challenges in personally? Like, when I order food, I think, was last time maja aaya tha ki nahi? Something like that.
No, sir.
So it is, whether it is marketing versus, what taste versus marketing, or it works both?
No, see, marketing can only get you the customer one time. There is no other role for marketing. Or maybe some slight nudges through performance marketing if we are not on top of mind. But if our experience is bad, there's a very good chance the customer will not give us a second chance, I think, and that's fair. So that is our job, and I think that is, I would say, 80% of the job, to keep the product consistent and delicious. But delicious can be subjective. So we give a lot of add-on options, like you can buy a curry masala if you want to make it spicy. If you want less spicy, you can buy Lucknowi, or if you like Calcutta version, you can buy with potato and egg, or a Guntur version. So we will offer versions, add-ons But there is no shortcut to consistency. So, and that's our job, and we learn every day, and we improve every day. So there are two parts, I'll repeat this part, is you standardize all the inputs, be it chicken or rice or masala or curd, everything, and you standardize the process, and you keep on doing it every day, again and again and again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just have one very small question. I think you can standardize everything in terms of making food, masala or process, or how many minutes you will cook and all of that. What I feel is when we are having, like, say, chole in Punjab or Amritsar, or we are having chole, same restaurant or something in South India or in Bombay, I think biggest difference I feel is the water which is used to cook the food, right? I think it makes the biggest difference in cooking. How much masala you have, how much chole you have, how much rice you have, but the water which is used is different in south and north and west and everywhere else. And biryani, I don't know, are you able to crack that? How do you standardize that? Because I'm sure it will cook very differently here and there.
No, so see, of course, so see, we, like I said, for handi also, water also, there's certain test in softness, TDS, etc. We do it for every city, right? So it has to fall within that parameters. Having said that, so see, Chai Point, I had the discussion, same discussion with the founder. So their milk and water. In tea, it is even 10 times more important than biryani. So see, we are very clear about all these things. So in Chai Point, the water, what I understand from Amulik, he's also from Microsoft, a techie guy, he was working in US. So there are a lot of all of us who are doing these kind of businesses. So the water and the milk, in the case of Chai Point, comes from a single source, at least till 2-3 years back when I had a long discussion with him. So in our case, we have done experiments. Of course, water is a very important ingredient, but not to the extent in Chai Point. So here we standardize the rice, the masalas, the chicken, everything, curd, this water standardization, we don't, but we always keep testing the water to a certain TDS, softness, certain parameters we have. It has to fall within that. See, as long as it falls within that, which are regular tests every 2-3 months in that outlet on water. So we have always water softeners, TDS machines, everything. So so there's a very good quality control, teams, quite scientific, which test from chicken to water to masalas on lot of parameters. So they have to keep falling on it. But what we have realized, as long as water falls on those standards, it is good.
In fact, just to add here, I remember earlier days when India was just opening up. One of the first companies with which I had worked was PepsiCo. Yes. And they were making potato chips. It took several years for them to get a standardization. So entire supply chain, there are few things that are under their control. For example, the process, handi, heat, all this is under their control. But there are things that are not under control. How farmer, grows rice, how the ingredients are getting. Ingredients come maybe from India, they come from Uganda, because, some of these things are imported. It's very difficult business, more so for things like biryani. Because it's very difficult to have, how do you match that? It's a real art. And PepsiCo had spent several years just doing research on farming, the soil, the potato size, the shape. A lot of things go behind. Same way when 1991 India opened up, second company to come to India was Kellogg. And again, I had some experience on that. And to have same kind of cereal which they produce worldwide, how do they do it in India? Was a challenge. I think your business is even more exotic, and so one of the passion that we have, and my specialization happened in 1977, was on globalization. And I know we'll be discussing at some point, I know your aspirations and stuff like that. And we'll be able to do it because there are very few exotic food chains, There are a lot of things that are there are a lot of things that are not there, but I think it is going to be very interesting experience But it's not an easy thing going back and getting maybe a word or two, but maybe Suril, you have some question.
I'll
We'll
just
go
like
into
to say
that
one
in a
line
moment.
here. See, every business is, you can't really create a billion-dollar business without challenges. And see, when I, look at, let's say, the challenges of a SpaceX or Tesla, they are, million times more. See, and so all these challenges, and we have discussions with McCain, which are the world leaders in potato chips and all that. So everyone faces, but you do it to 98%, 99%. You have a ways to reject what don't match your standards, and you have a way of feedback mechanism if it's not working. So it's a continuous thing, but with time, learnings, you get it right, as long as the intent is right.
Yeah, Cyril.
Yeah, no, my question is that, like, who do you see as your biggest competitor? Do you see fitness apps and health apps to be your competitors? And if so, would you be able to create, without me eating the biryani, can you create a sensation in my brain that tells me that I've eaten your biryani? And, in the metaverse, you can give me a whole biryani experience where you can actually make me the cook and I can tweak the biryani, in such a way that I don't need to eat it. I can just, with the sensation of that, I am satisfied.
No, I think you have planted the idea in my head, and I'll always always thank you for that. But no, I mean it. It was not a joke only. So as
Sorry. And if you're thinking of a startup, let's talk.
So see, metaverse, I'm sure, despite the heat on metaverse will be a reality, and it's already is. So what you are saying, see, finally, if I become a bit philosophical for 1 minute, it is finally the serotonins and the dopamine in our brains, right? Whatever we do, it is, see, food is about memories. Like why, so what you have eaten, your life, certain, like if, maybe for a European, if they have eaten more oregano or rosemary spices, so they might give them same kick in their dopamine or serotonin levels what a khada masala in India might give to certain people, right? So I think I'm trying to correlate with metaverse here. So I think it will come down to, because I want to the same you have to believe. Everything is about belief, right? Here, belief. What you believe is true, right? So you have to make the person believe enough through visuals or through memories, right? That it is the same experience. But of course, I don't have a very technical answer to it, but I agree with it. So you have to make the person, as long as you can create the same dopamine, serotonin levels and the same belief, I think the job is done. But maybe you have better ideas, happy to, but I think it's the visuals and taking you back to your experience of memory, what you have done at that time. But I hope the stomach is full too, other than dopamine and serotonin.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. NMD.
No, I was just saying, biryani has a very special fragrance attached to it, right? So when the biryani
correct.
comes, you open the handi, there's a fragrance. So that it's very hard to replace, right? So
So see, I think I have read it, but I have not seen it. But I think there are now sensors getting created, like along with your computer. They will, with the company, they will give you the same aroma to give you the same feel. So you can create the biryani aromas on those sensors.
I think we should do one event together on haptics. Okay. And I will have my colleague who is in Silicon Valley, is PhD in artificial intelligence, so focuses on some of those things. So haptics is going to be very interesting experiment to have mixed reality. And I think we should do some experiment in coming
for
times.
sure.
Maybe I would ask
Nishith Bhai, I have a question here. Ashish here. Hi.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah,
Vishal.
Ashish, he
Hi,
leads
Vikram.
the Singapore office, by the way.
Yeah, so
I have lived in Singapore 8 years, so I know.
So next time you are there, please do let us know, and we'll obviously be glad to host you there as well. And yeah, if there is an outlet opening, I'll definitely be there as well. But I have two questions here. One, especially given your line of work, and you as you described it earlier, it's dependent upon providing that biryani and having it delivered to the house. What is your take on all these delivery apps and their share into restaurants' profits, and how do you interplay in your discussions with all the delivery providers in terms of what they charge for the service that they are providing? So that's one. How does that interplay with your business? And second, what is your take on new business areas connected to yours, such as cloud kitchen? Would those be something which will grow, or you see them going to grow in a place like India?
Sorry, I'll just add a third question. Ashish Desai here on top. So what made you believe that you want to do 100 outlets versus maybe one outlet like Kayani? Was it only revenue, or do you think there are other factors to it? And Vikram, to you the question is, when you invested, did you think about, did you think that they are going to have 100 outlets, or did you think that they're going to become someone like a Kayani in Pune?
Yeah, let me answer the first question first. So I think I get asked this question about food aggregators from Deliveroo to Uber Eats to Zomato, Swiggy, everyone, right? So in every business, very broadly, this is a very broad comment, there is a content creator and there's a distributor. You can take P&G and Unilever as a content producer, and you can take a Walmart or a Flipkart or Amazon as a distribution. You can take a Sanjay Leela Bhansali as a content producer. You can take a PVR, Inox or a Disney Hotstar as a distribution platform. So this is a very symbiotic relationship. One cannot exist without the other. And we have to respect each other as partners. And that's the right way of looking at it. So we have always looked at it as a very symbiotic and in spirit, in partnership. In India, there are on Zomato and Swiggy platform, there are closer to 2 lakh restaurants which are listed all over India. And that is the number of restaurants in Beijing listed on Meituan. So the content side, Zomato and Swiggy tomorrow cannot grow if they don't have the content side, right? You have 2 lakh restaurants on one side, and you have 50 million customers on the other side, right? So it's a very symbiotic relationship. They also know they need to improve this side of the business. And so I have to give them due credit that they're giving me distribution. Having said that, our web app, we have one dine-in outlet per city, especially in tier 2 towns like Ludhiana, if I can call them tier 2, Ludhiana or Kanpur or Mysore, Bangalore, we have Jamshedpur dine-in outlets. So we have dine-in revenue, call center revenue, our own website revenue app, which is more than 30%. The rest comes from aggregators. So maybe the right mix for us, which we want in long run, is 40-50% from our own channels. But even for a P&G to say that I will not sell on Costco, I will not sell on Walmart, you have to give your distribution channel margin depending on the product from 15 to 25%, whatever the distribution channel margin is. So I think it has to be seen in that way. It has to be seen in that way. You have to be a good content provider that you have the power equation slightly shifted to you. So if you see in Domino's in US, they don't use Uber Eats or DoorDash or Postmates or Caviar, which are the aggregators there. They use their own fleet, and they don't use. So it depends. If a content provider here being Domino's or Domino's in UK only uses out of Deliveroo or Delivery Hero or Just Eat, one of the delivery these aggregator platform, whosoever gives them the best deal. So it depends. You have to be strong enough that content provider, here I'm using the word content provider being the strong enough that your distribution partner also needs you. It's not that you need them. So it comes down, as a lawyer, so you'll understand, it will be a power play. But as long as you have done your job right, finally I am saying the content provider always becomes, in a lot of these cases, bigger than the distribution. Today, McDonald's market cap is in excess of $150 billion, close to that. And Chipotle with $4 billion revenues, close to 40 billion. The biggest aggregators market cap, DoorDash, in US is probably $25-30 billion. It's lower. So it depends where you are in the scheme of things. You just have to do your job right and understand someone else is a partner. So,
yeah, excellent.
Just
Any?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Josefa will take later. Please, you can be a little louder as usual.
Can't hear your voice. I had a related question, when you talk about the market cap of...
She is a chartered accountant and lawyer. And
so I'm vegetarian,
okay, so,
basically.
are you vegetarian?
Basically, I'm vegetarian.
No, see, CA होती veg हो जाता है, अब आगे कुछ भी करो.
Yeah,
No, I know.
that's why.
My wife is a CA. I
She
know.
is also a Jindal, so must be somewhere from vegetarian community. But
हाँ, फिर मैं बिगड़ गया पर
So my question was on, your globalization strategy, and when you talk about market cap of, companies like McDonald's, Domino's, Chipotle, etc., where do you see biryani going? I mean, when you talk about, because, we would presume that's the next step, right? It's done phenomenally well in India. Everyone knows biryani by kilo, 100 stores and still growing. So how do you see this growing internationally?
What's your name, ma'am?
Parul.
Parul Jain.
Parul Jain. No, thank you, Parul. No, we are very clear that this has to be, we want to make ourselves, this company and India proud. I believe that after the hard power, the soft power has to come, partly through Bollywood culture, partly through food. And I am repeating this, but see, we have seen, from, there are chains, be it be Chinese food chains in US, to, of course, the Mexican food chains, Chipotle, to everything. So there is no reason. And biryani, we are very clear that biryani will be a great category worldwide. And tomorrow when you go in 5 years to London, Singapore, you will get BBK everywhere. It's a tough journey, long journey, but we are very quite clear, matlab, if God willing, we will be there. And so I think the way to do it is, like I said, is even when we go to Hyderabad, we have to, tweak the model, right? So first of all, I think the way to do it is 2-3 parts here. There are a lot of big F&B chains in Middle East who are the master franchisees of KFCs in that region or McDonald's. So in Middle East, there are companies called Americana, April Group, and this one more, I'm forgetting the name. So they are master franchise of Starbucks. So they're all in talks with us when we say. So biryani is a big category, and Middle East might be the first where we go. So not only UAE, but Saudi Arabia or Qatar. So they already have the know-how in terms of regulatory environment, in terms of BD, where you take your places, in terms of customer data. What we have to do is, we know how to get biryani right, standardize it. We have the know-how in terms of the product. The way a Domino's will come to India and partner with Jubilant. Jubilant is a very successful partner, so their market cap is closer to, let's say, 7-8 billion. Domino's, I'm saying it in context, Domino's market cap in US might also be 15. So you have to look for the right JV partners who have the know-how and the same passion as you have. And of course, you will have to tweak the model the way we do it in Hyderabad. In US, let's say, people like in Handi, of course, but even, like Chipotle kind of model where you choose different products, you empower the customer to choose. So it can be a model where you're changing biryani. It can be a different kind of biryani, spicy, and then you put your toppings of chicken or so the format can be different. The formats can be different, but you have to first find the right JV partners. But having said that, I think that's also one step away. It might take us a year to start doing this. See, I think a lot of these companies, you see McDonald's, generally they came in US in 1960s or 50s or very early Starbucks or Chipotle or Subway. Not Chipotle, Chipotle is more recent, but Subway, who have like 20,000 to 40,000 outlets, Starbucks. So it takes a long journey in these companies, and we are ready for that. But once created, there's a very good chance McDonald's or Burger King or Starbucks will be there for next 50 years. Unlike I'm using a word, maybe a Motorola or Nokia, which, or fashion companies, which can change. But these businesses take time, the brands, unlike tech. Although we have tech heavy on the back end, brands take time to tweak and be created. So like Hermes, I take example, has been there for 1837 or something, the brand. They've seen world. So brands are there for very long term, but they take time to get created. You have to work country by country, state by state, but once created, So all these brands were started in 1960s or very early 70s. And they're still but we are going to be there, I promise you.
So, are you in Mumbai or are you in Delhi?
So,
Where are
sorry,
you based?
Can you
Gurgaon. Okay, so Parul is in
can
Delhi.
you hear me?
Yeah, please.
yeah,
Just one
Mir.
second, just one second.
Yeah.
So-
Can you hear me?
Just one second.
Mir, one
So
second.
let me introduce Parul
Okay.
Jain.
Thank
She is a
Hi.
hardcore vegetarian, but she became shark because after I converted her into lawyer, so she stopped ranking chartered accountant, but she converted. So
She can eat non-veg
and
now?
she is in.
Do you eat non-veg now?
No, I don't.
But I will
But
like...
she is in Delhi,
No,
but
we
in
will see
international
numbers.
technology.
No, for sure. And see, let me say, the myth on vegetarian, we make a vegetarian biryani with the same processes, and we are known for a veg biryani, a paneer biryani, katal biryani, and I say our veg kebabs are by far the best I've eaten in India, and I'm an objective person.
They are cooked in a separate handi. They are cooked in a separate handi, no? Because here the handi is each one separate, right?
Yeah.
So there is segregation by the way,
Yeah,
because she
yeah.
doesn't eat something that is cooked on the same
No,
platform.
no.
Except on the NDA platform, everybody comes together.
No, I think you can be rest assured, and we can open access of cameras of kitchen to certain customers if they want to see how it's been done.
Nishith, this is like really taking privilege to the next level.
She specializes in globalization. So she has
We go any length to convince the customer. Happy to open the cameras, kitchen cameras for you.
Okay, Vaibhav Parekh,
yeah,
he leads
before
our
we
New
go
York
to
office.
Mihir.
Just once again,
Yeah, hi. As I said, I'm in New York and I'm looking for your globalization and coming to New York. But I had a question based on your brand.
I've lived in New York few years.
Yeah, good. So next time you are there, we'll catch up over biryani.
Yes.
And my question really was brand, what you mentioned, and I was just curious to know what made your brand Biryani by Kilo, and whether you're going to tweak when you come to the US like Biryani by Pound.
So see, I like to show people one or two videos, and we have recently, if you see the screen, started calling us BBK, right?
barbecue.
ABB or PVR. So I don't know how many people in the audience would know PVR's full form. We all go to PVR, right? It's a because they,
Village Road show.
because
Yeah,
it's
same thing with Wipro.
So you're right. So all these acronyms and when we started, we used to give in 1 kg handi biryanis. Now we give half kg also. We do single portion handi also. So I'll really, use this opportunity if I can to show a 1 minute video. Maybe.
Sorry, before you, okay, because Mihir in Silicon Valley, he's awake at this point of time. He had a question. So
We
I
make
think-
them work
Oh, okay.
overnight from Silicon Valley.
Hi, Mihir. Hi.
Not we
hi,
make them, they
Vishal.
work.
Thank you. It's amazing, very inspiring, and I can't wait to have you come to the Bay
He's
Area.
here. You can see
Yeah,
him.
I can see him here also.
Oh, you can see him.
Yes, perfect. No, I like the idea of 2-3 things that came up. One is the haptic aspect that Nishith mentioned earlier. I think it would be great to look into. how
Mir,
we
can you
have
speak a little slow and little loud?
Sure,
as usual?
Sure. I like the idea of haptic that Nishith brought up. When Suril asked about biryani in the metaverse. I think it would be great to look into that, and I'll be happy to discuss with you at some point. But another thing is, my question is more about mass customization. Increasingly, people are looking at mass customization, right? I just don't want what you cook. I want it to be cooked in the way I would like it. Have you tried that? Because I'm sure you're cooking biryani from fresh, so it's much easier for you to do as opposed to having some standard process. Have you tried mass customization through app or anything like that?
No, I think it's a good question. I think in online models, that's the key. Like we should know our customers best, and I'll answer your question more directly in just a second. So let's say, given our CRM, we know Mihir orders chicken biryani most Sunday afternoons, right? So let's say if we see you not ordering few Sundays in a row, we can always nudge you, right, through app push or SM or whatever medium. So that's one part of the customization. But coming on the product customization, which I think is a question here. So let's say in Hyderabad, what we are going to do is, today also we give an option of extra spicy. So if you put it on the website or during your order, So let's say instead of 12 gram masala, which is standard, let's say in 1 kg, and this is a placeholder 12 gram, we would put 15 grams, right, to make it extra spicy. In Hyderabad, what we are going to do, and we are launching it, said double masala. Although when I tried it, I couldn't eat more than 1 spoon. But that's what apparently in CRM or customer service people want, double masala. So we are giving that double masala, right? So, but taking the US example here, let's say, and we have broadly, you have Hello Fresh, which was or Blue Apron more in
Blue
US.
Apron, yeah.
Blue Apron, where they're sending you meals at your home, right? Blue Apron. So so in Blue, and you get time, right? Or let's say you're going to Costco, we can give you DIY kits, where so instead of saying it is a so we can it can come in different ways. In a Costco or a Blue Apron, you can have the handi, you can have the masalas, you can have the rice. So you can we can give you guidelines how to cook it, and with in this oven, this moisture. So there's a lot of way to customize and milk the cat, and it can all be done. And this is finally what the future is, and we will have to move to it. If a customer wants gluten-free, or they're allergic to nuts, let's say, and a certain biryani has nuts. So we have to take care, and that's what makes a successful brand, to be open to customer needs. If you're allergic to certain things and you want this or more masala or certain, or this we also do, right? If you want double chicken in your biryani or a boneless chicken. So I think all those obvious needs, we are moving towards it. And the online model gives us that option of customization and we want to be different BBK to a different customer, for sure, going forward.
In fact, just to introduce Professor Dr. Parikh, he is a strategic thought leader leading a Silicon Valley office, and he's PhD in artificial intelligence.
Wow.
And I don't have either of the intelligence, but he has dual natural, and now this gives us very good platform. I think this is a blue sky thinking center. We can imagine a vegetarian meat, which Parul would love to eat. She's salivating for meat, but she says it's non-veg, so I can't eat. So as with haptics and with vegetarian meat, I think we can create something, co-create. Venture capitalist here, money is not a problem. Legal advice is not a problem. Product is a problem, which we will solve. So I think,
and we have a very open mindset, I'll tell you. And see, whenever we have thought, and Silicon Valley, is our dream to come and sell biryani. And we will take some people like your help. How we have seen in the way to crack it is first open it in campuses of Microsoft, Google, Facebook. So I think first open so that you already acquire captive customers. So when we go there, I think that will be our strategy, and we will connect with people like you to first open in those big campuses so that you already create mindshare. Yeah.
Sure.
I think Darren
and I think also
is
create those packages, right, that you mentioned, ready to cook.
Right.
You have an example you gave.
So those DIY kits, at some point we are clear that, be it be Singapore, Mustafa, right? If you are in Singapore, you can go to Mustafa. You're in US, you can go to Costco or Blue Apron. You can just have DIY kits, right? You can cook it at 2 o'clock in night when you are hungry.
One thing, Darren, you want to speak? No. Darren is in a pharma healthcare practice group leader. He's going to lead a Munich office.
No, we are very healthy and safe.
Now, now packaging and any other question, I think, because he's concerned about all these people are eating so much, what's going to happen? So maybe, Darren, you have some question, feel free.
Thank you. Vishal, very inspiring story.
Darren, closer.
Be louder.
I'm also reminded by the documentary, the movie, The Founder. When you talk about standardization, it really hits home, and it's so similar, which is great. I actually had 2 questions. The first one being, I think in all of these discussions, we're hearing a lot about the delivery, meaning that you want people to have this at their homes. And I feel like the focus is not particularly on dine-ins. And I just wanted to check is that voluntary? And if not...
No, but I'll correct you there. But
yeah, please. What is the experience you're trying to create in your dine-ins? For example, for McDonald's, for example, what I'm hearing is that the seating is not particularly comfortable because they want it to be a quick churn and they want the footfall to be higher, right? And I just wanted to check what's the experience you're creating there. The second question is on your, I mean, if there is an ESG program, for example, being more environmentally conscious, is there an option maybe to return the handis for you to be able to reuse, and is that even a possibility logistically for this to happen?
Yeah, so see, dine-in, we are 90% of the business comes from delivery, 10% in dine-in today. It's a very important piece for us. And we were having this discussion with Vikram and Deepak also when he coming. See, a lot of brands from, you see, online market, e-commerce market is also, 10, today the e-commerce market is in India 70 billion compared to the retail market, which is 900 billion. So it's always in US also in the developed market, it's 15-20% if I'm not wrong, not more than that. So dine-in is a very important piece. Also for customers to experience your brand. See, the touch points are more in a dine-in. So if you go to a dine-in, we have one in Thane here. We should open at some point in BKC at some point, once we have a little more money. But if you're going in Bangalore or Hyderabad, or the rentals there are a bit cheaper than Bombay's 300-400 rupees square foot. So, or in Ludhiana. So the dine-in is a very unique experience where the customer, so what we believe and we think a customer on special occasions can go to a dine-in once or twice a year and 10-15 times order in a year from our delivery app per se. But dine-in, the perceptions, or not the perception, the real connect in dine-in is a very important. So if you go to a dine-in, it's not, if I can say, we generally do a small dine-ins to save money, more 20-25 seater. But it's not like a QSR. It's a not fine dine, but a little casual dine plus. So in terms of cutlery, the experience, everything, it's a premium product. And it's served in from the handi to your table and everything. So, so dine-in is important. We opened our first food court in Bangalore last month. We'll be opening a lot of airport from next year. So it is, because you need to be seen also, be visible. So dine-in is an important piece. And in terms of ESG, so see, we thought of that and we tried it also to get the handis back, but logistically it's very expensive. But what we encourage and what we have seen people doing is we do competitions where you do DIY handi, you paint, and we will give, like free biryani for 10 free biryanis if, whoever wins, top 10 people. So there's a lot of DIY competitions. If you go to a social media, Insta, Facebook, etc., a lot of people, we encourage them to, and people use it to recook biryani or dal in it. People do many different things, and people keep sending us. So our social media is replete with examples what people are doing with the handis.
So I know we are running out of time, but we'll take one more question. And you had 1 minute video as well you wanted to show, right? And
1 or 2 minutes.
Okay, and I know that we don't want to be between you and your...
Drone video we want to see.
Also, we have 2-3
Because,
videos. I want to see
okay.
half a minute, 1 minute.
No
Sure,
problem.
sure. So,
see, whole idea here today, we are in a retreat. She's relaxed, so it's combined with, we're given enough time because we thought it not to
I
have
just
5
didn't want to be
people.
between people and their biryani for lunch. Right?
Yeah, but they are all salivating for biryani. You'll all get it, don't worry about it.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
I have a, first of all, Vishal, it's truly admirable what you've done. You came back from overseas to start this fantastic venture. If you don't mind, I have a question for the other wonderful guest we have today, Vikram. So Vikram, I have seen you, I think 10 or 12 years ago, you were moving around Bombay, Delhi, and you were in the process of starting your fund, and you did it. And now you just mentioned that you even got carry that you contributed to the IIT Foundation. Congratulations. My question to you, sir, is what's been your VC journey? If you could just describe that, what would you attribute to your success?
Thanks. And you've seen it, I also remember meeting you very early, in early days as well. So I would say that I think, started in 2011, and one of the things which I realized was that venture capital is all about having that right connect with the people. And the connect is on both the sides, whether they're your investors or your portfolio companies. And the original idea was that we'll raise capital only from the IIT alumni and we'll deploy capital only in IIT alumni. And we actually had a team of, so I created a team within a year with, 4 of us, all from same batch, same hostel, IIT Delhi. And it was quite interesting. We reached out to 75,000 alumni in the first year itself. Basically asking 3 questions. Would you want to invest in this? And we were raising 200 crores at that time. Or is there something you have that we can invest in? Or give us one day of your month and we'll take it contractually as mentors. And it was very interesting that within 6 months we received some 21,000 responses. People, majority of them basically saying, very happy to give one day of the month. And a very large number of people saying, here's a startup we're working on. Can you please help us with some guidance or with some funds? And of course, many came back and said, what's the ticket size? We'd love to invest in it. So we raised about 240 crores in Fund 1. We invested in 10 companies. We are Series A investors. We basically, and right from the beginning, the Series A check has increased from 15 to 18 crores to now about 40 to 50 crores that we do from a Fund 3, which is 2,000 crore in size. I would say the biggest, one of the biggest things that happened for us, people like Nishith Bhai, who actually supported us, even before I actually formally launched IVCAP, that passion that came from our board members, we have quite a few distinguished alumni, and a lot of alumni who actually came as mentors. That actually became a platform. And that platform, we started looking at a lot of very good opportunities. And if it was an IIT alumnus startup, it naturally came to us. It doesn't mean that we only invest in IIT alumni. 60% of our portfolio is IIT alumni. Interestingly, this whole concept of give back, which was, he said, 25% of our carry of Fund 1, we said we'll give back as endowment to the IITs, which actually led to the formation of India's first endowment fund at IIT Delhi, and now a lot of other institutions are doing that. That actually became a hook for a lot of alumni. And in fact, I remember discussing that with Nishith Bhai at that time, and he said, even lawyers should do that.
So apart from IIT alums, some lawyers also ended up investing in the fund.
and I think it kind of, that concept actually struck very well. And the reason why we were able to create a very powerful platform with people wanting to work with us, not just because they were looking for capital appreciation. They were looking for that give back as their primary motive to get associated with us. So I would say, to answer your question, that has been our main driver. And of course, we have quite a few institutional investors. We have 27 Indian institutions, including the largest banks, insurance companies. State Bank of India has been our investor from our Fund 1 itself, as an example. And they actually, in their history, did their first ever co-investment with any VC fund, which was in Biryani by Kilo. So they just put 15 crores, in a last round as their first ever co-investment. And we have other banks, the largest banks, insurance companies, all investors with us. So I think we've been very fortunate in this entire journey. Thank you.
They've done a fantastic job, I think. We must give a big round of applause to Vikram and from technology to technology of making biryani, the IIT way. Great job done. Should we close this? I think you have... yeah. But before that, I thought anybody else. I think we are all okay now. Let us have a video how the biryani is done.
So we have 3-4 videos, small, which are entertaining.
No
also.
problem.
So if you go to the screen, थोड़ा ज्ञान भी है पर मैं सिर्फ वीडियो चलाऊंगा. This is our new logo because we are moving from biryani by kilo to BBK.
BBK, yeah.
There's one or two, so I think this is all Gyan. If you can go to one or two, I wanted to
Sure,
show
sure.
you. No, this is Gyan, so just keep going. So no, if you go back, if you go back a bit, so go back, just go back. This is like we are doing a new campaign in Hyderabad. We wanted a connect. So you'll see from next month in Hyderabad with PV Sindhu. And she actually is a big fan. On her cheat days, she and her father family actually only eats BBK. But if you go forward, we are in all these places, yeah, keep going. If you can go forward, yeah, this is Gujarat, I think Gujarat and Tamil Nadu we are holding for next year. For, of course, because for certain reasons.
Election time.
Election, we'll go next year. Can you go forward? Yeah. Can you go? Yeah. So we have released this Dum Laga Ke India on Disney. It will be on YouTube also. 4-part web series because brand building is one big part of what we are doing. So it is on Disney with Chef Ranveer Barar and 4 celebrities who are the Dum of India. We are collaborating with it. If you can go forward. This is the trailer of Dum Laga Ke India.
कहते हैं कि हिंदुस्तान में हर कोस 2 कोस पर जायका बदल जाता है। इसी बदलते जायके की तलाश में
8 रुपए में जन्नत
हम चलेंगे।
Why do we do this? To make it what?
Just to make it frothier.
But why can't we blend it in the blender?
Lassi is older than the blender.
दूल्हे को मिलता है मौका बिरयानी खोलने का। मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि आप शादी कर लीजिए जल्दी।
You're such a bundle of energy.
आपने चुप करा दिया मेरे को यार। मजा आ गया to see you live.
I don't see Ranveer. I can just see my opponent.
नमस्कार, मैं रणवीर ब्रार और आप देख रहे हैं दम लगा के इंडिया।
Every city that we go to, हम ये कोशिश करते हैं कि उनसे मिले जो उस सिटी की स्पिरिट को truly represent करते हैं।
At what age did you become passionate about cooking?
ये तो मैं रेडी करके आया था क्वेश्चन मेरे को, मेरे सामने भी क्वेश्चन आने। खाने के साथ में बहुत सारे किस्से मिलेंगे। यहाँ लोग फिल्में सिर्फ देखते नहीं, जीते हैं।
पानी में तड़का लगा दे तो वो भी टेस्टी हो जाएगा।
कि ये उस समय का है जब बिरयानी 75 पैसे की मिलती थी।
Taste is the only truth, and you believe by it, and I love you for that.
और ये तमाम लोग जो इस हांडी में आके बसते हैं, जब उनको दम लगता है ना, एक खूबसूरत सी बिरयानी बन जाती है।
दम लगा के इंडिया brought to you by बिरयानी by किलो।
This is a 4-part series. So I think the brand has to keep traveling. It has to become the category. Like it has become There's I think one more only.
Sure.
If you can go. So
We gave enough time for yours.
दम दम बिरयानी बहुत खास, दम मुर्ग मसाला जोर स्वाद, दम कटकट सब्जी तेज आंच, दम खूब पकाया प्यार सा, दम 56 भोग समाये इसमें, तीनों लोक फना है इस पे, दम बड़ा पाव, दम इडली रवा, दम डाल बटर यूं मचले तवा, दम साइके टूट पड़ेंगे सर पे, खूब कसीदे पड़ेंगे दिल से, भरपूर मशहूर भी खाएंगे, दम किस्से निखर के आएंगे, दम चटपट ठोस जुबानी, जबर स्वाद में लीन कहानी, दम तिरकिट थिरके कदम दम खेल कूद में होके मगन, दम कलकत्ता भी बोलेगा, दम रंग कल्चर के खोलेगा, दम 4 मीनार भी महक उठेगा गलियों में जब इधर खुलेगा, दम से मुंबई झांकेंगे, दम खाऊ गली भी नापेंगे, दम फूल बाजार भी घूमेंगे, दम बेंगलुरु में झूमेंगे, हर शहर का स्वाद यूं होगा हजम सर चढ़ेगा जब इंडिया का दम दम लगा के इंडिया।
Only yesterday, my wife circulated Ashok Kumar's the same rhythm, you know. I don't know if you remember that, but you know.
Of course we remember Ashok.
This is originally Ashok Kumar thing. It's nice recall and good tribute to him.
We should do that in the Hum Log.
Yeah, correct. So in fact,
you have to finally, no matter what we say, also make it aspirational or glamorize it.
Yeah, it's very. In fact, it's very good.
To make it a part of young people's lingo, and it's a healthier meal. We say it's a heritage, and hope all of you. So we have a drone video, but I don't want to waste. But I hope. But I don't know if I think it was before. So we did this. It's on the net also. I think if you or maybe we'll need time
you want
to
to
find
show?
it. I think it was there. But anyway, I think you can see it on YouTube. But
No problem.
I think do become a part of our BBK journey. We want to make all of you proud and make you salivate and in real world also. Yeah.
Has been wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy,
Thank you so
Vikram
much.
and Vishal. And all of you, maybe Prakhar, you might want to come and close this session. So what we did, we had 1 hour to listen to you both, and we have 2 more hours to have nice biryani. So I think don't sleep in the afternoon session, but we are given enough time so that people can meet you and
if I can
enjoy.
say, our biryani, when you get it home, because it's opened from the same handi, is even better than whatever you get. But it's also great, but it's even better when you.
So he's personally come to serve you the biryani. It's all will be in the lunchroom. So Prakhar, please come and.
No.
Yeah.
On? Yeah. मैं कुछ कह नहीं सकता, भूख लगी है अभी.
Come. Don't feel shy.
नहीं shy नहीं, भूख लगी.
शायरी वाले shy नहीं होते.
No, it was a very it was a very I mean, we have sessions, they are knowledge, enriching sessions, learning. This is a mouth-watering session we had, and ज़्यादा मैं कुछ 3-4 शेर हैं मेरे दिमाग में, लेकिन मैं टाइम नहीं.
टाइम है, शायरी है तो टाइम भी है. आज
लेकिन
हम रिट्रीट पे आए. हाँ,
मुझे एक्चुअली इन्होंने खाने की बात की तो मुझे पीने पे शेर याद आ गया. देखो हैंड इन हैंड. आप
छाछ भी देते हैं साथ में, बाय द वे.
जिसकी जैसी सोच.
आउटलेट गोवा पे लिकर भी देते हैं. गोवा आउटलेट, if you guys ever go, we have liquor also along.
ये देखिए इन्होंने बात कर दी. थैंक यू सर. प्लॉट बन चुका है. मुझे याद आया था, आप में से किसने मधुशाला पढ़ी है? किसी ने पढ़ी है हरिवंश राय बच्चन की मधुशाला? तो उसमें मधुशाला की एक पैरोडी लिखी गई थी. बनारस हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी के जो प्रिंसिपल थे, इसलिए मैं आपको कह रहा हूँ, BHU के प्राध्यापक प्रिंसिपल जो थे, उन्होंने इसकी पैरोडी लिखी थी और हिज नेम वाज मनोरंजन. तो उन्होंने साहब ने पैरोडी लिखी, मुझे उसके कुछ पंक्तियाँ याद आ रही हैं, मैं आपको सुनाऊंगा. उसके बाद वील ब्रेक फॉर लंच, क्योंकि बात हुई, आपने, मैं बोलता नहीं, आपने गोवा की बात कर दी तो इसलिए याद आ गया. वो ऐसा है कि भूल गया तस्बीह नमाजी, साथ दें, भूल गया तस्बीह नमाजी. तस्बीह मतलब जो माला. भूल गया तस्बीह नमाजी, पंडित भूल गया माला. भूल गया तस्बीह नमाजी, पंडित भूल गया माला. चला दौर जब पैमानों का, कल रात को याद करिए. भूल गया तस्बीह नमाजी, पंडित भूल गया माला. चला दौर जब पैमानों का, मग्न हुआ पीने वाला. आज नशीली सी कविता ने सबको ही मदहोश किया. कवि बनकर महफिल में आई चलती फिरती मधुशाला. रूपसी तूने सबके ऊपर कुछ अजीब जादू डाला. नहीं खुमारी मिट्टी कहते, दो बस प्याले पर प्याला. बसा नहीं खुमारी मिट्टी कहते, दो बस प्याले पर प्याला. कहाँ पड़े हैं किधर जा रहे, है इसकी परवाह नहीं. यही मनाते हैं इनकी आबाद रही है मधुशाला. और भर भर कर देता जा साकी, मैं कर दूंगा दीवाला. अजब शराबी से तेरा भी आज पड़ा आकर पाला. लाख पिए 2 लाख पिए पर कभी नहीं थकने वाला. अगर पिलाने का दम है तो जारी रखे मधुशाला.
Thank you. Very nice.
Thanks.
Big round. Once more. Thank you for both coming up. Thank you.